Welcome to this week's Q&A with Rich Gaspari and Neil Hill. This week's question is from Mike Hooker from North Carolina. Mike asks, I am getting ready for my first bodybuilding competition, and my question is, what is a good, safe way to properly get dry for the show without taking any harmful diuretics? What do you think, Neil?
First thing, what's most important, Rich, is obviously that the fluid intake that these athletes are consuming in the days that they're leading up to the show and even sort of weeks out, should be really above a good 5 litres of clean water a day. What I suggest basically about sort of 2 or 3 days before the show, they just slowly cut the water back. Sort of 3 days out, the water would drop back to about 4.5 litres. 2 days out, it would drop back down to about 4 litres. And then 1 day out from the show, basically, probably filter maybe 1 litre of water. What that's actually going to do, and then when you shut that water off straight away, what will happen? Your body won't memorize the fact that it still thinks it's actually you're going to still be consuming water. So it will just be human nature for your body just to keep sort of peeing that fluid out. And what it will actually do is it will obviously get rid of the fluid under the skin. And the introduction of a bit of vitamin C, maybe about 3,000 or 4,000 grams of vitamin C 3 days out from the show, and the introduction of some asparagus, which is a good natural diuretic anyway. All those 3 combinations together are definitely going to have a big impact the way that you look on when you walk on stage as far as the drying out procedure is concerned.
I did something similar back when I competed. I actually took a diuretic tea, and as you said, I drank up to a gallon and a half of water before the competition. I actually mixed the dieter's tea into that water 3 days out from the show and drank that water. And as I got closer into the show, I cut back on my fluids. Then, being the show on Saturday, actually Friday I would drink right up into the afternoon and then not basically just sip water through the day. And as you said, your body, because it's used to drinking all that fluid and excreting that fluid, is going to continue excreting it, so you just completely dry out and not have to take any type of harmful diuretics.
Yeah, and another method which does definitely work, you just got to be very careful of the fact that you don't end up too flat in the day. You can wrap up before you go into a show. I've done that before myself, sort of if I need to sort of lose a bit of extra fluid because I'm not going to make the body weight.
Guys that have to make body weights would have to do that, go in the sauna.
That's right.
Make the weight.
Yeah.
And then, like we have Flex Lewis, who's a 202 competitor, and guys that he competes against, they actually go into the show on stage at 210, 212, right. But these guys make weight by hearing that they go into saunas, going in, making the weight, and then going back into drinking fluids and taking in their carbs and going on stage at a much heavier weight.
That's right, and it does work, I mean, obviously everybody's different. It might take sometimes a few sort of trial and error attempts, but what I would suggest is if you get ready for a show about 2 weeks out, and obviously you've not used these methods before, get ready so you're 2 weeks out from the show and try these things. You will see which pathways your body's going to go with it.
Exactly. Everybody is different, and that's one thing to know is that with everybody's different metabolisms, not one system works. And you being a trainer, you have an array of athletes, and every one of them you have to do something that may be different. Than it's not just one type of way of doing a type of diet that you're doing for that individual, or trying to make sure that they dry out, and may be different for each one of these individuals.
That's right, and it's a learning curve for myself as well, because sometimes you're working off a blank canvas, you're working off something from scratch. So it's very much a learning curve as well. You've got to sort of work at a baseline, build a profile for those clients, and then as I say, you're learning from them as much as they're learning from you.
Well, that's a great question.